Hi and hello, it's me, DJSoulbutter, and the year is coming to a close and everyone is releasing their year-end lists as far as their best and worst music, so I thought it'd be my turn to do so as well. So for this video, I will be doing my top 10 worst records that I listened to this year. I will be doing a top 10 best that will be coming soon, but for this, I'm going to talk about the things that really made me sad, really made me cringe, that I thought was just downright awful. And I felt at times like I was punishing myself, to be honest. And before going into the actual top 10, I do want to mention a couple records. I guess you could say some dishonorable mentions. That Vultures project with Kanye West and Ty Dolla Sign, I refuse to let anyone tell me that those records were in any way, shape, or form on par with Kanye's earlier work. It was nonsensical, it was juvenile, it was poor production, it was just plain shit. And also, sadly, I like to mention the Fred Again record, 10 Days. I really connected with Fred Again's actual life series, especially the first one. That was like the quintessential pandemic record. It was a really beautiful, moving album. And for some reason, he's kind of settled into this really bland, trite house music that just feels incredibly uninspiring. And that record was just dull, unfortunately. Now, those were not the worst records I listened to this year. So let's dive into this. This is my top 10 worst records of 2024. At number 10, the Green Day record, Saviors. Now, I want to share something. When I've been doing this for 6 months now, this record, for some reason, was the only time that someone kind of sort of threatened me, like on YouTube. I posted this review of this record on YouTube, and there was one particular guy who was really upset. He was just pissed off beyond belief because I thought that this was bad. And you know what? It is bad. I'm sorry. Especially when you look at the legacy of Green Day as a band, they've been on a pretty bad streak of records. I mean, their last two or three are pretty god awful, and this is another one. When I was listening to this record, I really just couldn't wait for it to end. And it's just a shame because these guys have made so much music that was really influential and important to me growing up that they can't seem to kind of get their head out of their own ass. But yeah, this sucked. At number 9, the debut record from Ice Spice, Y2K. Now, this record is a prime example of something that I've mentioned in the past as far as younger artists today being more content creators as opposed to being real artists. Now, no shame when it comes to Ice Spice. Get your money, ride the wave, do what you do. I'm not hating on that. But this album was garbage. And the fact that it was only about, I believe, 20 minutes in length, or maybe it was close to half an hour, but it wasn't that much material. And it just showed when listening to this record that she really has absolutely nothing to say. These songs were mid, they were just boring as all hell. And I feel like we as a society didn't want to say that. Like, you want to kind of champion a young artist coming up and blowing up on the scene, but we had to like quietly pretend like this was not terrible, and it was terrible. And I think we all can just accept that now. This wasn't good. At number 8, the Hardy album, Quit. Now, this record was Kid Rock, but worse? That's all I'm going to say. At number 7, the Imagine Dragons record, Loom. Now, when I went to listen to this record, I tried to erase all preconceived notions of what Imagine Dragons is as far as being just simply lame. You know, when you think about bands like Nickelback, Creed, I guess Coldplay today, you want to kind of just not fall into the trap of just saying, oh yeah, these guys suck. They make this cheesy, over the top, overproduce, really cringe-worthy music. Maybe it's not really that. No, it is really that. This record is cheesy as all hell. They're trying to sell me the new Honda Sonata. I'm not buying it. This was bad. At number 6, the Voidz with Like All Before You. Now, I don't know what they were going for on this record, but whatever that was, they failed because this record was incredibly hard to listen to. Like the production on this is pretty awful. It's just a really strange listen. And you can make songs that have really odd song structures or influences that are interesting or something that you can kind of sink your teeth in and try to navigate through. But this was just a mess, to put it simply. And they've made interesting music in the past, but whatever distance, whatever journey they were trying to put the listener through, it failed miserably. At number 5, Young Gravy with Serving Country. This was cringe as all hell. The lyrics were just really, really fucking stupid. The music sucked. This was just another cash grab that seems to be the thing to do right now with everyone going country. And, in comparison to like the Post Malone country record that he released this year, I actually didn't hate it. And I somewhat admired the commitment he showed to making a half decent country pop record. Now, with this was just a really bad joke that wasn't funny. And this guy should be ashamed of himself. But maybe he made some money off of this. Kudos to him. At number 4, Paris Hilton with Infinite Icon. I still have a hard time believing that this wasn't some kind of elaborate inside joke. These songs are so unintentionally funny that I can't believe it. And I also want to bring up that someone commented on my review for this album that I didn't get it because I'm not a girl or gay. That has nothing to do with it. This album is just a pop mess. It's not good. This is, again, I want to mention again when I reviewed this that this reminded me of the Andy Samberg film Pop Star. It's just ridiculous. At number 3, the collaborative project between MGK and Trippy Red, genre Sad Boy. This, ugh, God. I just didn't buy the emotional strife that these guys were trying to convey. I thought it was complete bullshit, and the music itself is just gray poop. Gray poop. Genre, gray poop. At number 2, the Ian record, Goodbye Horses. This album is racist. I'm just going to say that flat out. I think that this is a really weird thing that we're accepting this guy basically cosplaying as Playboy Cardi. And I think it's really lame that certain artists like Lil Yachty are co-signing this. This guy sucks. This is trash. And I don't like it. And at number 1, the Falling in Reverse record, Popular Monster. This album kind of felt like a sequel. When like, I've made bad music before, but this time it's personal. Like, like, man, this was just so incredibly lame. And the whole idea of like playing the martyr, going against the woke mob, and this is not even about politics or personal beliefs, but this was just pure bullshit and just so incredibly cringe and lame. And the music, of course, sucked as well. It was just this really synthetic, highly processed new metal and rap rock or whatever the hell you want to call this. It was just complete offensive crap. And offensive not with the lyrical content as far as your personal political beliefs or whatever, just offensive in general. Just offensive to the ears, offensive to all your senses. This guy who tries to play off as like this hard individual is clearly simply a bitch. And this is the worst record that I listened to this year easily. Thank you for watching. As always, peace, love, butter.